Rise ye ashen tarnished chosen undead, and welcome Souls fans new and old to my ultimate Dark Souls Remastered Platinum Trophy Guide for players of all skill levels and more importantly catering for worst case scenario. I will assume you have got the worst luck when it comes to drops. I will not use a weapon that is not accessible guaranteed at any point in the game. Um, we will be getting everything the hard way, but more important than that, we will do it the easiest way possible, catering for worst case scenarios. So I will never be spending souls that you will not have. There is opportunities for you to have things easier than I do, but if you have a hardest case scenario in terms of drops, souls, and anything else in between, you will be able to follow this guide and get your platinum trophy, unlike certain other guides that are out there, which I've seen personally, where you go, well, that's all well and good, but if I don't get the Black Knight weapon dropped here, I have to keep restarting until I do. Nope, we're not going to worry about anything like that, for example. We're going to carry on and we're going to do a guaranteed platinum guide. It's also going to try and make it as easy as possible and accessible as possible so it can be fun for new players and more experienced players alike. If you are more experienced, you're welcome to play around with your build. However, I do advise do not spend souls when I do not spend souls. The whole point of this run is that we're going to have the souls we need to spend on what we need when we need. They're not always going to get spent on levels. We are going to get 40 trophies plus one platinum trophy, so 41 in total. We're going to play the game 2 1/3 ways through, so that we can get 2 endings, 9 covenants, 23 miracles, 24 sorceries, 19 pyromancies, and 52 rare weapons, some of which are shields, and we're going to get 10 trophies for reinforcement. So just a reminder, if you do build your character different to me, if you do over level, just to remember, it will cost you more to get to the 25 faith that you need if you haven't increased that as part of your build. Again, recommendation is if you spend on what I spend when I spend, then you'll know you're guaranteed to have what you need when you need it. So we're going to start our game off. Playing in offline mode, we just don't have to worry about getting invaded by some tryhard who's just trying to pick on new players. It's not fun. It's not necessary at this stage. Play offline, you don't have to worry about non-NPC invasions. New game, and as you can see, it is a brand new game on a brand new account. So we've got the brightness settings. Set it to maximum. Just going to make it easier in a few of the dark areas. I'm going to drop my volume down a bit. I'm going to be explaining the build, the guide as we go, so hopefully this will help you hear me, but not lose out on the game too much. And my recommendation is in the gameplay settings, change the jump, so press X and then click in the left stick. I find it personally so much easier to jump by clicking in the left stick. It's the same as the mechanics for Dark Souls 2 and 3. By default, it is the same button as your dash, which means you have to run, let go, and quickly tap the button again to jump. More often than not, you'll find that when you let go of the button, your character will just stop running rather than let you jump, and that can cause big problems later on. So personally, I recommend changing it. This is a personal preference, how you like to have your controller set up. It will not change the platinum. Okay, name the character whatever you like. I'm going to go for DBN, for Drew by Nature. Gender doesn't matter in this game. In other games, you do get exclusive armor sets based on your gender. However, in Dark Souls 1, do not worry. Class is important. We are going to pick the Cleric. The Cleric, importantly, has 14 faith, the highest starting faith. We're going to need to get that to 18 around the middle of our first playthrough, and 25 for the end game for one of the covenants, which is part of a trophy. Also, the mace that you start with is a strong enough weapon that's going to make the early game very easy to 1 or 2 hit your way through. Gift, we're going to pick the Master Key. We're going to avoid having to do some backtracking. By having this key, it's going to make things a bit more easier, and we're going to have to take a bit less risk, so that's always good. The rest, all up to you, how much time you do or don't spend. I'm just going to go very basic. I'm going to make my wannabe Leon Kennedy cleric and confirm, and we're just going to get straight into our game. I'm going to skip the cutscenes in the interest of time. However, if you've not seen them before and you're playing the game relatively fresh, I highly recommend watching them. There's so much lore and depth to this game, and it's a shame, for players not to catch up with some of that. So I'm going to two-hand our broken straight sword, and we're going to kill these first 3 hollows. Look at these notes on the ground if you're new to the game. They're going to give you tutorials on the buttons. And by killing the first 3 hollows, which are completely optional, it's going to give us 60 souls, which is enough for 1 extra firebomb when we buy some early on at the merchant. And yes, for any experienced players going, buying firebombs, what are you doing? I'm making this as easy as possible for everybody. We're going to cheese the Taurus Demon, and that means we're going to need some firebombs. Come here, light the bonfire, and we get our first trophy in Kindle. We're going to rest at the bonfire. It just saves us a bit of time in the event that something goes wrong in this early section. But if you're doing what I do, nothing should go wrong. So, open the door, and straight away we are going to run to 10 o'clock on the clock face. So, top left, you can see an orange note there. Head just to the left of it, keep running. You're going to hear a big enemy jump down, and we're not even going to look at it at this point. We're just going to keep going. Don't worry about that bonfire there, we don't need to worry about that. Come here. Pillage the corpse for your shield. That is your starter shield that you pick. That way we don't have to worry about this guy shooting arrows at us, even though he wasn't even looking in our direction. Come forward, pick up the mace. That is our starting weapon. We're going to keep that straight sword hilt because we're going to turn it into a boss weapon, which is required for the Knight's Honor trophy. Run here and bop. So I press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox to two-hand my weapon, and I attacked. Now come here. There's a boulder up there. We're going to go to the right of the steps, and we're going to come up the steps. And once you get about halfway up, the boulder's going to come down. If you're on the right of the steps, like I was, you won't get hit by it. And we're going to talk to our good friend, the man who dropped the key. He is sadly, he got attacked while he was on the roof, is the lore to this character, which is why he has fallen through. We're going to say yes. He's going to give us our Estus Flask. That's our healing item and our second trophy. Estus Flask. 2 trophies in already, guys. And he's going to give us the F2 East Key. Now, you are welcome. You can attack him. However, I like to give him dignity and let him do it himself. Either way, you can't avoid him perishing and 100 souls. At the top here is a hollow. You can either run up and attack him two-handed, or get your shield out if you're uncertain. Block, he'll bounce off your shield, and then attack. So if you're not comfortable with the game at this point in terms of mechanically controlling, have shield and weapon in your other hand. Pick up this talisman. We're going to let enemies bounce off the shield when they attack us, and then we're going to take advantage of their vulnerable state afterwards, just like this. Attack, and we go pop. 1 or 2. Alternatively, we're not, so just quickly, we're not going in there because there is an archer. Alternatively, two-hand, pop guaranteed. There's an archer there. Once he's fired, keep moving, and he won't hit you. Pop. In here is a hollow soldier. All we're going to do is we're going to stay to our right, his left. We're shield up while locked on. It's going to let us strafe around behind him, and we're going to get a backstab. Two-hand your weapon. Go through the fog gate. Don't take too long here. Look down, lock on, and once you step off, attack. and what you should do is hit him, and it will take away half of his health. However, for some reason, it has not done that, so we're going to have to fully defeat him. As you can see, it's still not a problem, but that's a first for me. I obviously didn't walk off far enough, I'm not sure. But as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm keeping behind him, and when he attacks, I'm just trying to roll. But if you notice, I have my shield up whenever I'm not behind him, and that way, if I fail the roll, he'll hit my shield, and I'll take significantly less damage. Once you've got your equipment, that boss is not a problem. We ran away at the beginning because we didn't have a shield, and we had a little broken short sword. He drops us the big pilgrim's key. We can go through this door, and onwards to the main actual area of the game. We're going to go, by doing so, we're going to prove that we are actually the chosen undead, for it is told that the chosen undead shall escape the asylum and reach Lordran. And that's what our knight friend who dropped the key was hoping it was going to be him, but he was also helping anyone he could so that he could try and help fulfill the prophecy. So here we are, reach Lordran, our fourth trophy. Fantastic. Our third trophy, sorry. Fantastic. What we're going to do is rest at the bonfire. We're going to level up and strength up to 15. Strength at 15 means we're going to be able to one or two shot all the enemies in the coming area, so that's very important, just to make the game as easy as possible. Grab the humanity from this well, come up, right hand path, and grab these firebombs. Now when I sprint outside of combat, I'm trying not to let my stamina bar fully deplete. If it does, you are then having to walk until it fully regens. So it's always good practice, don't let it fully deplete. Let go yourself, let it regen, and you'll be able to run much faster again, or sooner. Talk to Derpy the monk.
Hello,
He's going to shrug you off. Wait a moment, he'll let you talk to him again. He's going to apologise and give you a coin. And then, wait a moment, talk to him again. And now he's going to let you opt to join the Covenant, the Way of the White. You are already a member of this Covenant, however you have to say yes, because that's going to then pop the trophy for having been in the Covenant.
Very well.
If you picked a different starter class for any reason, you have to join this Covenant. It's the exact same steps that I just did, and that way you get your fourth trophy. Covenant, the Way of the White, the first Covenant.
Now let me share.
Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to equip our Canvas Talisman in our offhand so that we can use the Heal Miracle for healing as and if needed throughout our journey. Come up here, we're going to drop down this gap, through this hole, drop down, and we're going to open this chest. You're welcome to open the other chests, we just don't need anything from inside them. What we need are the Homeward Bones. Inside here are some Lloyd's Talismans. When we get to Mimics quite a bit into the game, this is an option. If you don't want to fight them, here is an option that's going to let you get the items without. Roll, and then roll again when you land, and then run. Some skeletons are going to appear, and they're going to start chasing you. You don't really want to deal with them now, it's not worth it, they don't give you enough souls. So we're going to come around here, Soul of Lost Undead, run into the wall and forward, so that you don't fall down that cliff edge. Come down here, and rest at the bonfire. If it does not let you rest at the bonfire, it's because you're still being chased by skeletons. Do not worry, don't panic. Stay by the bonfire. The skeletons will start to walk backwards, and once they get out of range, the bonfire will become available again. They will not follow you down here. It is too far past their aggro range, so don't worry. Right, from here, we're going to do a quick dash and Homeward Bone. Homeward Bone is an item that returns you to the last bonfire you rested at. So we're going to do a quick dash for an item, and we're going to teleport back. Worst case scenario is you get caught up somewhere and you might die, don't worry, it's 223 souls. That is 4 firebombs less. That is not game or run crippling in any way, so don't worry. The key thing is you get the item. So drop down here, grab Soul of a Nameless Soldier. So long as you get the item, the rest doesn't matter. If you do manage to escape without dying, great, you're already in hollow form, so if you do die, the only thing you're going to lose is your 223 souls, because we're not going to come back here for quite some time, and so long as you get the item, there's no reason to come back. So, what you're going to do, when you get to the last of these pillars on the side here, you're going to start sprinting, you're going to go diagonally, follow the path I do. So we get to the last one, sprint past this ghost, round here, let go and sprint, bounce, pick up the item, walk forward and then use Homeward Bone. If you've done that the same pace that I did, the enemies will not attack you. Also, I stopped to show you the posts. If you don't stop but you just sprint from where I sprinted, that first ghost won't even be that close to you, so there's even less to panic about. But yeah, so that got us a Firekeeper Soul, so that's fantastic. We have a way of upgrading our Estus Flask in a bit, but there's no need for it right now. We're mainly going to use the Heal Miracle if we need to heal. So for now, we're going to proceed onwards. So, hollows here, there's a few of them, so we're going to lure one at a time. Walk forward, let him come to you, block, and riposte. Walk a bit further forward, this guy's going to run down, he's going to drop. Let him come to you. We're mainly avoiding that one up on that ledge. He's going to throw firebombs at us. And now we're going to deal with that one. So, come up here, shield up, wait here. After he's thrown, once it's exploded, run and swing, and he's gone. Axe guy, big swing from him, get behind him, backstab, or just 2 hits normally, or let him bounce off your shield, any combination thereof. Once you've dealt with those 4, come back down, lure out the final one, stick to his left, your right, get around him while he's attacking, and get the backstab. Don't worry, we are going to pick up that item down there. First, we're going to come up here. Now, walking towards the wall and forward, we're going to drop down to here. We're going to continue that plan of walking in and forward, and we're going to pick up Ring of Sacrifice. Ring of Sacrifice is an important item. We're going to get a few of them. From here, we're going to run and then jump across. Run and jump. And we're going to get another soul packet from that. Ring of Sacrifice, if you die, you drop all the souls and humanity that you have on you. If you then die before you pick that up, which is where you die, then you lose those for good, because when you die, you then drop what you have on you, so you can only have one load dropped at a time. So Ring of Sacrifice means if you die, you don't drop what you have on you. You stay inhuman. If you're human, you keep your humanity and souls. So the way that that's good to use is bar 1 that we're going to need to use, so we're going to save the rare one for that. We're going to use Ring of Sacrifice. If we die, we're going to equip the Ring of Sacrifice until we collect our lost souls. Then we can swap the ring again for something else. It just means that if you die again before you pick up your lost souls, you haven't lost everything. So Undead Burg, 2-hand, defeat these enemies. If you're still new to the game, you're not sure, use your shield to do it, not a problem. Run round the corner, across the bridge, you are going to 2-hand and swing. Get your shield out for this guy. As you can see, it's not the end of the world if you get hit. I'm going to use the Heal Miracle to top my health up when I get about a third of my health lost. Come here. I'm going to roll through these barrels. Drop down the edge here. Pick up Soul of Lost Undead. Drop down and check. If there is a hollow enemy here, great. If not, all that means is he is on his way to try and flank from behind you. Not a problem. He should be somewhere around this ladder. Oh, he might have already got up there already. Not a problem. We will deal with him in a bit. But yeah, ultimately, if he is there, it just means you won't have to worry about him here. Kill the first one, block the second, kill the second. Two-hand. Come around here, and attack here, and here. At which point he's jumped up, attack. At that point he jumps up, attack. This item here is a literal piece of rubbish. Collect it if you wish, but it is rubbish. Not saying it's a bad item, I'm saying it's quite literally the item is a piece of rubbish. So that other hollow should be somewhere around here. In the meantime, collect this humanity. Again, you may have already killed him if he was in that area I showed you. I do not know where he has gone. Oh well. He may or may not turn. He may have fallen to his own death. Through the fog door. Grab a Soul of Lost Undead here. Up the stairs and start to walk. Stop. We're going to see that dragon later on. And we're going to cut his tail off. In the meantime, let this first hollow come to you. Don't go too far forward, otherwise the crossbow guy at the top will start attacking you. We're going to let him attack, and then we're going to two-hand attack him. Now, key thing here... Oh yeah, by the way, if they drop anything, don't worry about picking it up. It's a waste of time. It will mainly be a piece of their equipment. Either a broken short sword, which you don't need, or their armor, which you definitely don't want. So, what we're going to do for this area, the crossbow guy at the top there, he's going to start shooting at us. Once he shoots, is your time to attack. So, wait for him to shoot. Keep moving in the meantime. Two-hand attack. Keep moving. If you keep moving, he cannot hit you. He can't deal with a moving target. Pop. If you're unfamiliar or uncertain about the games or controls, just play the game with the shield up and just use two one-handed attacks instead of one attack with two-handed. Light this bonfire. And rest. Do not spend anything. Two-hand, and we're going to kill the crossbow guy. So when you rest at a bonfire, it reloads all the enemies in that area. Kill this enemy. And then this guy, once you get to the top of the stairs, this guy will engage. Keep your shield up because he might do a jumping attack. Nope. In that case, I'm going to two-hand and attack him. Shield up in case he does a jumping attack. Nope. Oh, the flailing attack. There's the jumping attack. So the flailing attack is the one you need to be careful of because it's multi-hit. That one can actually do a decent amount of damage to you. So I'm going to heal here. And across the bridge there you can see there are two shield and spear hollows. They are tedious, they're annoying, they take forever. They mainly just keep their shield up and try to get a cheeky hit on you when your guard's down. What we're going to do is we're going to knock the shield. So by pressing forward and attack at the same time, you can do a kick. That will kick the shield away and then bop. The old kick and bop. So lock onto one, run up to him, kick and bop. He's just going to watch and think that he's safe, kick and bop. That's how you deal with shield hollows, or shield and spear. Come here, get close, move away. He's going to hit that bookshelf, or whatever shelf it was. Hit him, and we are going to talk to our first merchant.
Well now, then you...
Purchase. We are going to purchase one repair powder. There's a few points in the game where the weapon you have might break. This is a way that we can repair it without a blacksmith. We're going to buy one throwing knife, which we'll use very shortly, and then the rest we're going to spend on firebombs. Depending on how you've been following, you'll be able to buy anything between 22 and 29 firebombs. So buy as many as you can. So the reason we're buying as many as you can rather than a specific amount is I want to make sure at this point you will have the exact same amount of souls as I do, That way there is no chance of you falling behind or getting out of sync. So this is a really easy way to do it because we do need these firebombs. So after that, that's all we're going to purchase from the merchant. However, we're not done, I'm afraid. It is survival of the fittest in Lordran. So we are going to attack and defeat this merchant with 4 hits. So to do that, keep walking forward, swing, swing, wait, swing, swing. The reason we did this is for 3 things: the residence key, the humanity item. Also in the top left, you'll see our humanity count has increased to 1. So we've got 2 humanity technically from him. And on his corpse, we're going to pick up the Uchigatana. Uchigatana we are going to convert into a boss weapon later on, one of the 52 rare items that we need to get the Knight's Honor trophy. After that, we are going to come back to the bonfire. And we are now going to spend some soul packets. So, Soul of a Nameless Soldier. Large Soul of a Lost Undead. And 2 of our small Soul of a Lost Undeads. So from here on, we're going to pick up a lot of soul packets, which I'm going to use as few as possible. The idea being, if you do end up in an unfortunate scenario where you die and you end up losing some souls, you are able to use some of these soul packets to catch up, so you don't have to do as much farming. All I will say is, whatever your largest 2 soul packets are, do not spend them unless I do. We are going to spend as few as possible, but there are going to be points where we do spend them to save you some time on unnecessary farming. So in an ideal world, follow what I do. Even more ideal is if you do die and lose some souls, farm them back by killing enemies, respawning them at the bonfire and so forth. That's the safest way, but I'm being honest, we're going to pick up far more soul packets than we're going to use. We're going to get up to the end of the first run, and we're going to have a whole bunch of the smaller ones that you are more than welcome to spend to fill gaps. But ultimately, ideally, you're able to do what I do without too much difficulty. So here we're going to rest, we're going to level up, we're going to get our strength to 16 and our dexterity to 9. We are now setting it up so that we can use our next weapon for the run. Since we've rested, we have respawned these enemies, so 2-hand, we're going to kill the crossbow guy first. Run, 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 run. Bop. This guy next. Bop. Don't worry about picking up the item. Now, this one may or may not engage you. If he doesn't move, don't worry about it. If he does, then you are going to have to defeat him, otherwise he's going to sneak up and attack you. Now, 2 guys, or 3 of them actually, throwing firebombs. Wait for them to throw and run. Once you've crossed, let go of the run button, hold your shield up and try and get behind one of these guys. We're aiming for a backstab. Nope. Fine. The safest way when you're in a mob scenario is get a backstab. It means that you are immune to damage while you're doing it, so that they can't hurt you. Then get another backstab. However, in that case, didn't want to give me the backstab, so we're just keeping our distance, pick off one that's away from the group, hit, and so forth. We're just trying to play safe, rather than being too aggressive and getting punished. Come in here, shield up, he will hit you, hit him back, and he should die. Might take 2 if you didn't do it quick enough. Now 2-hand, round the corner and immediately attack. Womp. Come up here, grab 5 black firebombs. Black firebombs do double the damage of normal firebombs, so they're always useful. Come here, 2-hand again, and we're going to run past the first 2 to the left, get the firebomb throwing guy at the back. So run, stick to the left, attack, and roll, and that way you should avoid getting hit. Just do a single attack and a roll, and that way you can just pick these guys off one by one. Come up here, bop the crossbow, come back down. You can pick up these items if you want. The guy at the back there could drop a firebomb, but you don't need it. You've got plenty. Come up this ladder and attack in the order that I do. We're going to attack bottom, top, middle, or left, right, middle. Run, attack, run to the top, attack, and now attack the middle. If you do it in that order, then you will not get hit by any of them with their firebombs or anything else. Pillage this for a Soul of the Lost Undead. Again, up to you if you want to pillage any of the corpses. From here, roll. You will not take any fall damage. If you fall further than this ledge, you will take a little bit of fall damage, but it's not the end of the world. You can just climb down the ladder, but it's unnecessary. Open the door with the residence key that we got from the now departed merchant. Open this chest and get the 3 gold pine resin, which we'll be using 2 of, 1 as a spare in case something goes wrong. Now, the spear guy might be following you at this point. Not a problem, he'll take forever to get there. So walk halfway down the stairs. First guy appears, have your shield up, stick to the side when he attacks, and get behind for a backstab. My stance on souls is play smart, not hard. So I'm going to try and keep this as easy as possible for you. Get here, that should trigger both, but the guy with the sword will run, the guy with the shield will saunter, the spear will saunter, get behind, backstab. Look, see, we've got till Christmas for this guy to arrive. 2-hand, kick, and swamp. Now, here you can see a barrel. Once you get past that divot in the wall, the barrel will be kicked, so just get ready to turn around and quickly evade so you don't get hit. Up, down, across. Now this guy, again, because of that hole in the wall, we don't want to fall down there, so I'm just going to lure him nice and safe, keep my shield up, get behind him. Now it didn't give me the backstab because he was still recovering from hitting my shield. Don't panic in that case, either wait an extra second or just keep attacking until he's dead. Now, once you're on the stairs, what we're going to do, we're going to use these 6 humanities. That will get us to a total of 7. It will also replenish your health. Now, the more humanity you have, up to 10, the higher your item discovery is. What that means is you're more likely to have rare items drop. Now, the reason that's important is we're about to defeat a crystal lizard, and we want a chance to get some large titanite shards. So attack and attack this last barrel. There he is. 2 twinkling. So 2 twinkling titanite is guaranteed. You will get anything from 0 to 2 large titanite shards. Now, as I said, I am catering for worst case scenario. So although I got 2 there and you might not get any, do not panic. When we need to use large titanite shards, you will have enough souls to be able to buy any shards I have that you don't. That is guaranteed. I have factored that into our souls calculations. Do not worry. What we're now going to do, we are going to equip the throwing knife, and we're going to fight our first Black Knight. I'm going to show you the 2 ways of fighting the Black Knights, the backstab way and the parry way. I highly recommend you are going to need to learn parrying as part of this, and I'm going to show you the best ways to do that. So to begin with, if you're not comfortable with parrying, don't worry about doing it here. There's an easier place where you can practice doing it. If you want to have a go, but you might have to fit some heals in along the way. Don't come all the way down the stairs, keep going until you can lock on, throw the throwing knife, take the lock on off, and then run back upstairs. We're not going to fight him in that horrible narrow area, we're going to fight him here when we get around him. So, he has a few different attacks, all of which have openings to get behind him for a backstab, so just keep your shield up, keep locked on. And all you can do is just circle around. When he's finished attacking, get behind him. Alternatively, when he attacks, parry and riposte. Black Knights are awesome to parry because they give you this big window. Swing. You can see their arm moving. You can see the attack coming a mile away. Swing. So yeah, let him do the wind up. As soon as the attack starts to come down, that's the start of the parry window. And once he reaches your shield is the end of the parry window. So you've got plenty of time on those Black Knight swordsmen to get a parry off. The Titanite chunk drop is guaranteed. There is a, I believe, 12 to 16% chance that he will drop his Black Knight sword. If you do get that, I highly recommend when I start using the Sword of Artorias, which is the worst case scenario option, I highly recommend you instead use your Black Knight sword, use Twinkling Titanites to upgrade it to +5, and that can actually see you through the rest of the game. However, I'm actually quite glad I didn't get it. I was going to say, don't worry, I won't use it because you might not have it, but I don't have it either, so that's fantastic. With these guys, just keep away, two-hand, don't worry if you get hit, just fight them one at a time, heal up because we are about to fight our second boss of the game. So what we're going to do, we're going to equip our gold pine resin, climb down, and pressing no directions on the D-pad or the analog stick, press circle or B on the Xbox, and you'll slide down the ladder. If you're pressing a direction, you might jump off instead, and you don't want to do that. So, get to where I am, so at this last little rampart area here, apply gold pine resin, press down so that your Estus flask comes back, and you're going to walk forward until the Taurus Demon jumps. Come on, and sprint back. Two-hand your weapon, and climb back up the ladder. Now hopefully I won't get screwed a second time by the plunge attack missing the boss. Not the end of the world if you do, he's not too difficult. But this is a nice easy way of getting some damage, drop and attack. There you go, there's nearly half of his health. As soon as you can, get your shield back out. And we're going to do one attack and a roll. I rolled too early, that's fine. Two attacks, he's stunned, one more, he's dead. Just similar to the Asylum Demon, keep your shield up when you're not attacking or not rolling. When he starts to swing his attack, roll into him, do one attack, and you'll be fine. The lightning damage does so much extra damage to him. As you've seen, 4 attacks after that plunge, and he is defeated. Just play safe. Worst case, if he does beat you, you do have a spare resin, but don't use your last gold pine resin. That is important. Come here. There is a corpse hidden behind this crate. There he is. So just grab a soul packet from there. Come here, turn right, and we are going to talk to Solaire. God of War, son potentially of Gwyn.
I am Solaire of Asylum. Now that I am undead, I think you find that strange. No need to hide from it.
Okay. Talk to him the second time and make sure you say yes.
I have a problem. The way I see
And then say yes again.
is pleases me.
He'll give you the white stone soapstone.
There's no I need to summon my
Definitely
friend.
recommend
Of
just
course,
listening and paying attention to his dialogue. You know, one of the many characters that has such a great bit of lore and story behind him. In a way, it's a shame that I'm skipping through this stuff to make the video more condensed and, you know, for those of you that are familiar, not too boring. But yeah, absolutely love the lore behind the Souls games. So, start to sprint now. And hopefully we will avoid getting hit at all by the dragon. Don't worry if you do, it's not the end of the world. Once you get to the top of the steps, just tap the circle button to roll. Worst case, you get hit, and it's going to hit you in the back, you're going to fly forward, and you're down the steps anyway. Come to the ladder, kick the ladder down, climb down, and we're going to rest at the bonfire quickly. We are now going to level up. We are going to get our dexterity up, well, endurance to 10, and then dexterity up to 14. There we go. Right, back up the ladder that we just kicked down. Gold pine resin at the ready. Right, we're going to sprint up the stairs, quickly turn into this corner where we've got a safe spot where we don't get hit by the fire in this corner. He's going to kill all the hollows on the bridge for us, like a nice dragon. And we're going to apply gold pine resin. Make sure you have two-handed your mace and just start walking forward. Don't sprint yet, but once the dragon moves, we're going to quickly sprint up and we're going to attack his tail twice. So sprint, come to here, and attack as if you're attacking a wall. 2, and then run. Don't press OK yet, you don't want to get hit. Press OK now. The main thing is you don't want to be picking up an item when you want to press OK. Make sure you open this lever, light the bonfire, and rest quickly. There you go. That combination of opening the door and resting at the bonfire means the dragon goes bye-bye. Again, you do have a spare gold pine resin if you've not used it on the Taurus Demon to retry it. The important thing is it's only 2 hits if you have pine resin on. As you saw, I missed the first. You have enough time to get 3 swings, maybe 4 if you're lucky, before the dragon starts to move and you've missed your chance on the tail. If that happens, I would recommend Homeward Bone, back to the bonfire, and then try again. But you have to cut that dragon's tail off, because not only is it a good weapon to start the game with, but the Drake Sword is one of your 52 Knight's Honor rare items. Also, we're going to equip it. So the advantage of the Drake Sword is it does not scale with your stats, which is good for now and becomes worse later on, but for now it does a raw 200 damage, which is by far more than anything else that you would be doing right now. So we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to run up and we're going to do a running slice on this crossbowman, and we got the shield guy as well. Fantastic. I was going to say kill the crossbow. Of course it's a spear guy, so you've got until Christmas before he does anything. Kick him, stab him, and then we're going to pick up the claymore. Claymore is a great weapon, however we're not going to use it in this run. We are going to turn it into a boss weapon later on though. Now you've killed those 3, you have enough souls so that you can get a cheeky level into vitality. So vitality up to 12. Try and give us some more max health along the way, make the game a bit more safer for you. What I'm going to do now, I am going to use a humanity. Not only does having up to 10 humanity, so once you have 10 humanity, that is the most buff that it can give your item discovery, but also the more humanity you have, the higher your natural defenses. Kill this guy, and we're going to come up the stairs and we're going to fight a black knight with a great sword rather than a straight sword. So for this one I highly recommend backstabs. It is a little bit harder to parry. Come up, just be wary, he might attack immediately, he might not, and all we're going to do is we're going to keep moving with our shield up. Oh dear. Don't embarrass me. I'm making a video. Why are you doing this? Okay, well, now I can show you what happens when you die. So clearly this was planned. Or I just need to get a bit better. But it's fine. I'm not the best Dark Souls player by far. That's part of why I hope that this guide is going to be useful to you, because you're not watching just someone who's just amazing at the game. I like to think of that. I'm kind of maybe average, maybe a little bit above average on PvE, player versus environment, but player versus player, absolutely not. Not for me. But I think it's a very different game if you're playing PvP. So, shield up. We're going to do this again. We want the souls, and we definitely want the souls that we had on us. So you can see there, that little green pool, that is your souls to recover. So when it's safe to do so, there you go. Behind him, backstab. I'm now going to quickly recover my lost power. I now have my 8. Oh no. I now have my 8 humanity back and the 500 odd souls that I have. There we go. 2 backstabs and 1 normal hit is enough. Titanite chunk, and again, With 8, there's actually a higher chance, you're now in the 16-17% chance that he will drop his Ultra Greatsword. Again, I'm actually quite glad it didn't drop, because it's an option that you might not have. I'm definitely not going to use it, even if it did. We are going to pick it up when we do a Black Knight farm much later in our first run. It's actually right at the end of our first run. But it is 800 souls, which in the early game, 800 is still quite a lot of souls. Here, there are a lot of enemies, as you can see. There is a way that you can sprint past and get through that gate at the back before it closes. However, we are not going to do that. Worst case scenario. So we're going to lure them out and deal with them one by one. We lure him. We're now going to come out. There's a spear guy to the right. So, of course, we have plenty of time before he's a threat. Kick and swing. Up here, there are 2 crossbows and a spear guy. So once they have fired, we are then going to kick. There we go. 2 have fired, kick and swing, and then quickly block again. Take your lock on off. The maneuverability here, if you're locked on, you might fall down and you don't want it to happen. That hollow there, if he normally won't get stuck on the boar, he's going to come up. If he's stuck on the board, just be mindful. As soon as he unsticks, he's going to come up these stairs like this. Defeat him. And now it is safe. So, we are going to pick up these alluring skulls. Alluring skulls, hollowed enemies and certain beast-type enemies are attracted to these alluring skulls. So we're going to use these to our advantage. And what we're going to do, where this whiter section is on the bridge, here, we're going to stand just in front of it. We're going to face towards the wall and we're going to look slightly up. And we're going to throw one at the fire. Oh, that was too much to the left, so this one might be wasted. So the boar, yeah, too much to the left. We might get a little bit of fire damage on him, but not enough to kill him, definitely. Okay, I'll have to use 2 on this one. So, I'm going to look more at this seam, that wall, that line on the wall there. And I'm going to go about here, throw, that's the one we want. And we're just going to let him walk into the fire and let that deal with him. There you go, 750 souls. And you didn't even have to swing your sword. Worst case scenario, if you've used all 4 or if you're just not comfortable doing that, don't worry, all you have to do, drop down here, and quickly get into here, and he can't get into this section here. So don't worry. There is a hollow here. Do not fall for this. This is a trap. He is the bait. You're supposed to chase after him, going rah, and then you are going to get snuck attack by him and him. Do not underestimate these guys. They deal a lot of damage for what they are. They have a flailing combo that can actually kill you as well. So do not let them mob you. Get close enough that 1 or 2 start to follow, let them bounce off, and then, oh dear, there we go. There we go. So just keep your distance. If they start to mob, back up, let some of them charge ahead of the others, so that you don't have to deal with too many of them simultaneously. 1-on-1, let them bounce off your shield, and then bop them. Come here, we're going to pick up the mystery key. Come up the ladder. Depending on how many you've already fought, there'll be 1 or 2 up here. I believe there'll be 1 for us, because we fought an extra one down there. Either way, let him bounce off and attack. Looking down, we're just going to walk across, and we're going to pick up this item here, soul packet. We're going to come back. Much easier than in Demon Souls because you can turn around on the spot, whereas Demon Souls you do a little bit of a step away when you turn around. Walk through the fog door, and we're now on the upper bridge of this section. Don't worry about the right path, there is a Balder Knight there, but we don't need the shield, we don't need him, we're all good. Spear guy here, so of course, oh, he's attacked, then bounce off and attack. Wow. Okay. So, to the right is a spear hollow, so you've got plenty of time there. To the left is a Balder Knight sword and big shield. So, the easiest thing to do is let him attack. You can either attack him once he's attacked, or try to get around him for a backstab, or similar moveset to the Black Knights, you can go for a parry. If you're new to the game, I'd say don't try to parry them, because they are slightly faster. I don't know why it did not want to give me the backstab there. I feel robbed, so I'm going to parry him. Again, look at the arm. Once the attack starts, that's when you parry. But otherwise, block, just get around the back, or block and then strike. Okay, come here to the left. And you've got another one of these Balder Knights who's going to start charging at you. Don't go any further forward. Lure him out. We're going to fight one at a time. Nice straight attack. Nice shield attack. Pop. Now, if they do drop an item, do pick it up. Similar to these guys. They can drop their short swords. They can also drop normal Titanite shards. I will not pick them up because I don't want to have items that you don't. Enemy drops are random, so pick up the key and pick up the halberd. So yeah, enemy drops are random, so I don't want to have something that's dropped from an enemy for me and not for you. So unless it is a farmed item, I will not be picking up drops from enemies. All the borders, circle around them. Be careful with these ones that have the buckler shield. If they raise their sword pointed at you, they are preparing to parry. Do not, I cannot stress enough, do not attack if they are pointing their sword at you or pompously. Also, do not walk past this gap in the wall here. There is a channeler enemy up there, and he will spam you with spells. Once he's seen you, that's game over. Well, not game over, but it's a lot harder. He can also drop down and make your life a lot harder for you. We're going to kill him in a much easier way in a little bit. So, run here, run all the way into this corner, that way you'll avoid the crossbow, and you won't have to worry about getting attacked by both of these at the same time. So, you don't have to do what I did to hit them both. I got hit by him with my shield down, so I had to just evade to make sure I didn't get hit by both at the same time. Dark Souls enemies one-on-one are not a problem. It is always when you are mobbed that problems will arise. Come here. He will shoot. He will switch to a sword when you're up close. So again, you can pillage. You might get a chance of getting a Titanite. However, I'm not going to worry about that. Before we go into the church, we are going to run. We're going to get a safety bonfire. We're going to play safe. We're not going to play for... We're trying to do this as fast as we can, but I'm trying to do this in the safest way possible so you don't have to redo all of that journey from Firelink. Well, not from Firelink, but from the red ladder and deal with the dragon again. We don't want that. So, rest. Level up. We're going to get our vitality to 14, so we get more max health. And we're going to come down the stairs and we're going to talk to Andre of Astora. Repair your equipment. I mean, you don't have to do the mace, but I just like to have this as a clear, nice and easy to see what's going on. And we're going to come back up the stairs. And, I mean, it's technically a soul farm, but we're only doing it once. And we're not going too far out of our way. We're going to beat those Balder Knights again to get some cheeky souls so that we can get an extra level in before we fight the next boss. So, first and foremost, start sprinting now. Get to the side of the crossbow so he can't hit you. Attack him. First guy comes, he attacks. We attack him. This guy attacks. Attack. I beg your pardon. Thank you very much. Run up until you're at the end of the wooden bridge, then stop, and then slow walk. So don't press the stick all the way forward. Lock on. We're just going to get a cheeky backstab here. Strut, 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 stab. Again, you pick up, I will not. There's a chance that it's a Titanite shard. Kick, and I beg your pardon. Thank you. He attacked, so we'll just take advantage of that. We are so close to our next boss, and our next item for the Knight's Honor 52. Great lunge. 10 out of 10 for effort. Come in here, stick to the doors, that way you'll only get one enemy. Thank you. One enemy trying to engage you. Get behind. Oh, you're making it nice and easy for me. They do attack and jump back, so the buckler ones are a little bit more annoying sometimes. Come here. Lure out this guy. Doesn't want to give me the backstabs, but that's fine, because it's 2 hits and he's dead. Okay, with those defeated, we now have enough souls for what we're going to do next. But we've got one... I mean, he's going to be very daunting for your first playthrough, but don't worry, he's actually quite easy to deal with, and it only takes like 4 or 5 attacks with this sword. But you've got the big knight. I actually thought this was a boss on my first playthrough. I was like, oh my god, I'm not ready for this. But yeah, so all you do is when he attacks, roll, get 1 or 2 hits in, get behind him, keep your shield up, get 1 or 2 hits in, and there you go, 4 hits. Guarantees drops a Titanite shard. He might drop his weapon as well. You don't need the weapon, but the Titanite shard you do. Come up here, grab the Firekeeper soul. There's the channel I was talking about. Once you get to the pews, you are in range. You do not want to do that. Instead, you're going to come here. This is a lift that's going to take you back down to Firelink. We're going to take a little shortcut along the way. So keep an eye on this wall. It's going to open up as a gap, and you're going to see a platform start to appear. Walk off. Don't walk immediately when you see the gap, because that's too high a drop. Make sure you can see the platform start to get closer to you. If need be, take the lift all the way down, get back in it, take it up, it's a bit easier. From here, on the edge, and roll forward. Don't run, don't sprint, don't jump, just roll. And you will always land on there. It is the perfect distance for a roll. From here, roll again. Pick up the Undead Asylum F2 West key, we'll use that later on. And step off here, come down, pick up a soul, slide, whee. And we are back at Firelink. Before we rest here, we're going to come down, we're going to chat to our Firekeeper, who cannot chat back because she has no tongue. Or, well, I say she cannot speak, I should say. We're going to use both of our Firekeeper souls. And we're going to get our Estus Flask up to +2. So that means that it now heals more when we use it. Fantastic. We are going to rest at the bonfire, and we're going to reverse hollowing. Last thing we're going to do is get our vitality to 15. And with that, I'm going to end the first video there, and we're going to deal with the gargoyles in the next chapter. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope this is helping you so far, and you've been able to follow along, maybe with a few rewinds and, so forth. But yeah, really looking forward to the rest of the series. Thank you. I'll see you in the next chapter. And until then, bye for now.